Hello, fellow fantasy sports junkies. I'm Dr. Dan Ratner, and you are watching MFSN The Hub's Q&A on fantasy basketball. So, if you are new to the show, please click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like, and put your comments below. We're going to get to questions. They can be about anything fantasy basketball related. I already have some questions lined up, so we're going to start to bring some up. But if there's time in between, hello, Sam. I don't think I know you. Sam Jacobowitz. Welcome. Ask your question, and I will happily answer it. We do have a question from Casey. Start with Kobe today. I think that's a good place to start. On the anniversary of Kobe's death. His death hit me harder than any other celebrity athlete of the last several years, along with Robin Williams. It really is true. Oh, thank you, Sam. Just subscribed. You're the man. We love you. Okay. Put your comments below and ask me any questions you want. So, yes, when we know these people like Kobe Bryant, at least we feel like we know them. I mean, I know some people who actually met him, and that would be a totally different thing. But, you know, we watch these games and we love these players. And I remember exactly where I was when I heard that Kobe Bryant had died. And I still can't believe it. It's a year later. And this has been a really weird year on top of it. So Casey asks, is Kobe on your Mount Rushmore of the players we got to see play through our adolescent adult lives? Yes, I believe he is. But your question, Casey, might relate to, is he top 4? I think that he is. Jordan is definitely number 1. And I'm going to put Hakeem Olajuwon up there too. He was incredible to watch. He was my favorite player back then. It was hard not to recognize that Jordan was the absolute best. Kobe, and I think LeBron. I think those are the 4 players that I'd put up there. Maybe Olajuwon slips off. I'll keep thinking about it. All right. We have a question from Sam Jacobowitz. I did a lot of trades. How do you feel about these trades? Fred VanVleet for Pascal Siakam because I needed a power forward. Personally, I really love that trade, but Sam, I'm going to look into this for you. Now, we have some new technology. And by the way, we actually have 2 pieces of new technology. You can call in. It's www.callmfsn.com. And you can come on audio or you can come on video. So if you want to drop in, say hi to me, ask questions, please do. So I'm going to look at this this is the other piece of technology that we have. We can mirror my screen now. So I'm looking in my Yahoo League. This is where I play fantasy basketball. Here's my team. Let's get to it. Hot Rod Time Machine. But you go to the player tab. And I'm going to zoom in because it's a little blurry there for you guys. There we go. And we're going to look up what Siakam's been doing. That's not spelled right. There we go. Siakam. I need to see what he's been doing. Offhand, Sam, I would say that Siakam is the player that I prefer. VanVleet, I feel like is going to be, he's obviously picked up his game a lot, and there's a lot more room in Toronto for him to play. I'm looking at your other trades too. Tatum for Bam. Ooh, that's a really smart deal because Tatum is the higher valued player. Hold on. I'm going to look at Siakam and see. He's ranked 83. See, I think Siakam's ranking is going to go up. So I think that's a great deal for you. But let's just make sure. I'm going to look at VanVleet and see how he's doing. No players found. All right. Let's just look up Vleet. Meanwhile, I thought it was Fleet before. Did he change his name or something? I think he did. So VanVleet is ranked 31st overall. Siakam was 83. I still think that it is a smart trade for you because I think Siakam is going to go up and I think VanVleet is going to go down. That being said, VanVleet has been great. So, you can't really go wrong with either of those. All right, let's jump back to your other trades. Oh, not Tatum for Bam? Oh, he traded Bam for Tatum. Well, listen, I was going to be complimentary about you for taking a chance on Bam, but I like the deal where you get Tatum more. I'm a therapist. I aim to please with almost anything you would do. So I love that you got Tatum for that. Let's take a look at his stats. See what it is you're getting. Tatum is a guy who is borderline elite. I mean, when he's playing his best, he is elite. So let's see how he's been doing. See, now this is one thing. In leagues, you're going to lose track of players that are on other teams. So Tatum is ranked 19th already. He's having a great year. Oh, my God. You got a steal, Sam. Nice job. And your other one, Jamal Murray for LeBron and Shai. You dealt, KD and Jamal Murray for LeBron and Shai. Which side did you get? You got to tell me which side you get, and I'll weigh in on that, Sam. I like how you're a trader, though. You know, me and Casey, who was the first person I talked about in this, we trade a lot. Casey's in my league. Let's see. We got hello, Dr. Dan from IndieSpot.tv. Hello. Good to see you. All right. Yes, I agree with you, Sam. Siakam is going to go up in value, and he's going to be better. Total. Okay, so Sam, you got LeBron and Shai. That's what it sounded like. I like that side for you better, actually. But it's close. Jamal Murray, I felt, was overrated coming in. He had this great postseason, and everybody thinks that he's going to, take off and be the next big thing. And I'm not saying he's not, but there are times where you can't really be sure that that's going to happen. So, Shai, let's look it up. Let's see how Shai's been doing. One thing that I was saying is that you lose track of what players are doing that are not on your team or not relevant to your team sometimes. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's a player that's never going to be not owned in this league. So when he's on another team, I really don't have to worry about him too much. The only times I think about players like this is if I'm going to go and trade for them. So Shai is currently ranked 39th overall. I'm scrolling down his stats. He's got 1.8 threes per game. He's got 21.9 points. Great. I mean, just great numbers across the board. And he was I don't know if he was a sleeper pick for most, because I think, I agree with you, Sam. Shai is much better than Murray. I do agree, but I'm just so we look to be thorough. I'm just going to look at Murray's stats to make sure that I do totally agree. Oh, wow. You killed them in the deal. Nice job, Sam. All right. Well, if there's a spot in our league, we like competitive players. So we'll look to you to fill it. Maybe we got to stay in touch. Shai is ranked 20th in your league. That's good stuff, Sam. You're a good trader. You can see, look, Jamal Murray, he has got 3.8 rebounds. He's got 4.3 assists. He's got 1 steal. Shai has 0.9 steals. These are average stats, by the way, guys. So you can look at the total numbers as well. But when I'm trying to size up a player, I usually look at the average stats to see, how good are they on average. The one thing you got to be careful of is if this is an average of playing like 3 games, that's not going to help you that much. Now we're going to get back to questions in a second, but the first thing, we got a comment from Facebook, from Ross Mark. Who is the biggest surprise in fantasy this year? Biggest surprise in fantasy this year. Okay, well, here's the way we determine that. We're going to go straight to the player page. We're going to go to all players, not all available players, because whoever's the biggest surprise is rostered. Now, we're looking at, if you look at the current, let me zoom in because that's too blurry for you guys. There we go. Okay. So I just want to scroll over for a second. You can see, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Here we are. We're back. But it's blurry again. Let me help you out here. Okay. So if you look over, here are the players. But if you look right here, this is the key. We've got the preseason ranking. That's what they came in. That's what their expectations were at. And here's their current ranking. So if you see a player with a very high preseason ranking, like higher number, they weren't expecting it. CJ McCollum is a great example of this. He's ranked 54th as in the preseason, but he comes in ranked 7th. Now, this is an average stats, so we might want to take a look at his actual total season stats because he's been out for a couple of games. I just want to take a look. Ooh, here's a great example. Okay, Miles Turner. He is 52nd in the preseason. I'm a little biased towards him because he is on my team, so he would be one that I would nominate for that. Malcolm Brogdon is another. He came in ranked 55th preseason. He's ranked 11th. Grant of Detroit. I'm just going to take a quick look at him. Jeremy Grant. Look at this guy. Okay, Jeremy Grant was expected to be 95th preseason. He's ranked 12th overall. That's a bigger surprise to me. Boucher, Chris Boucher of Toronto. I'm going to move that over so you can see it. There you go. Chris Boucher of Toronto. He was ranked 132 coming in, and he's ranked 19th on the season. But the reason I'm not going to nominate him is that people who were in the know knew he was going to be really good. Now you see CJ McCollum is 54th, and he was, I believe, 12th overall in average stats, but he's 22nd in overall stats because he's missing some games. So far I've got Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going to go with Jeremy Grant. I didn't even know that was going on. That's a great question, Ross. Okay, let's get back to some of the questions. But you know what? We got another comment from Ross. We're going to do that first. Another Facebook comment from Ross Mark. Do I think Harden is still a top fantasy player with the trade to the Nets? I think that his value with the Nets has gone up because on the Rockets, he was really not motivated. But what is his value actually going to be on the Nets? It's all going to depend on motivation. This guy is a head case when it comes to motivation. If the Nets experiment is not working out, I could see his value tanking. And when I say tanking, I mean relative for Harden. And he's just not going to score as much. He's like dishing out 11 assists a game, but he's just not scoring at the level that he has been. So ultimately, I think he'll be totally fine. I think Harden is at least a top 10 player, likely to be a top 5 player. I'm not worried about him. Before we get to more questions, I'm going to throw it to our sponsor, and I'm going to show you our sponsor. Killcliff. Delicious energy drinks. And we're going to go to a commercial, and I'm going to be drinking this.
Oh, look, coming down the runway is Killcliff, the clean energy drink. It's in a brand new can. Oh, look how the colors pop. Boom, boom. Oh, beautiful tan, the front, the back. Gorgeous. Oh, and the flavor, it's still the same awesome taste. I want it in my mouth right now. Oh, so sexy. Go to killcliff.com. Oh, do it now.
Now listen, I have some familiarity with Killcliff. They are not capable of moving around by themselves like that. That was a commercial. In reality, you're going to need to use your hands to pick them up, but it is delicious. And Killcliff, if you're watching, put your name on the back. That way when I'm drinking, we can see it. Yes, Killcliff. Okay, we're going to scroll back through the comments and see what I've missed. We have another question from Casey Scheinvold. Are we at a point in the season where someone's numbers reflect their true value? How do you determine if it does not? I love these questions. Casey and I are known for talking about the game within the game. So we sometimes we don't like to get caught up just on the players. We like to talk about the game as a whole. So one of the things about the game is we need to understand what the numbers actually mean. We are at a point in the season, though, where some of the numbers are going to make sense and some are still not. Jeremy Grant, for example, is he really going to keep that up? I don't know. So I'll tell you what, Casey, we're going to delve in. Let me find him again. Where are you, Jeremy Grant? Let me see. There you are. We're going to look at him and see. This is an example of a kind of player who we need to evaluate. Is this what he's going to do? Well, I'll tell you what. I am scrolling to, let's pull up the screen so you can see this. I'm in on Jeremy Grant's player page. I'm looking at his game log. Can we pull that up, guys? I see someone saying no, we can't. All right, they're working on it. So we'll see if we can get that up for you. But I'll tell you what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is he has over 22 points a game in 9 of the last 10 games. He's averaging about a steal. He's averaging about a block. He's averaging close to 7 rebounds. I'm not seeing any way this guy's numbers are going down. Here's the other thing. His minutes are way up there. So here's what I'd say to you, Casey. We are at a point in the season where I think numbers mostly make sense. What you're seeing is what you're getting. What we were seeing earlier in the season are things like Damian Lillard not playing that well, and you knew Damian Lillard's going to be fine. Some of the numbers still don't make sense, though. Jimmy Butler. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it looks like you're not going to be able to see my screen right now. Something's going wrong with the technology. Let's zoom out for a sec. I'm going to take a look at Jimmy Butler and see if his numbers make sense at this point in the season. Jimmy Butler. Here we go. We're going into his player page. I'm going to go to game log because what I want to see is the last 10 games. Game log will do that for you. All right. Now, look, he hasn't played in a while. No, don't go out like that. All right. That's fantasy hockey. We don't want that. That's a different show. Okay. So Jimmy Butler's been out for a while. And let's find out why. It's funny. These are things that you'd think I would know. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm following the news. I knew it was COVID. So he remains on the sidelines. He has been out since January 9th. So his numbers are not going to make a lot of sense in terms of if you're looking at season total. But if you're looking at season average, they still make sense. Jimmy Butler might be a guy that you could get as a steal. He's ranked 29th in average stats. He's still getting 29 minutes a game. His points are going to be higher than this, 15.8. These are numbers that do not make sense. 5.5 rebounds a game, 5.3 assists, 2.2 steals, shooting 93% from the free throw line. Jimmy Butler is an undervalued resource right now. So the numbers are a little bit skewed, but I'd say we're at the point of the season where we're far enough along. And my way of defining that is you need 3 weeks. So when Casey says, how do you determine if the numbers don't? I say, first of all, it needs to be a large enough sample size. And you also need to check. I think we understand what the problem is. Understood. All right. I think we've got it now. We've got our screen back. Now, as I was saying, Casey, I think the way I think about it is that you need the numbers to, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what we're looking at. We're looking at Jimmy Butler again. Take a look at these stats. These are some good stats. But his point total, let me just show you something. If we go to his season last year's season average, let's see how he did that. His point total, 19.9 points. Rebounds were up. Assists were up. His steals were a little bit lower. Free throw percentage was lower. So right now his free throw percentage is elevating his value, but everything else is depressed in value. And I would say he's going to go on the way up. So hopefully I answered your question. Okay. Lauren is asking, Kawhi and Paul George are out for the week. Who are some good replacements? Okay, now, this is a great question, but I'm going to frame how I'm going to answer this. So, when I'm looking for a replacement for Kawhi or Paul George, you're not going to get somebody who gives you those stats unless you're going to make a trade for somebody. So, maybe you could trade Kawhi or Paul George and get somebody. Maybe you get Jimmy Butler, and then of course, he's not playing, so that's a terrible example. But you could get, let's say you get LeBron. Let's say the Kawhi owner is just freaked out that Kawhi's, or you've got Kawhi and you're freaked out about him, and you're like, I'm shipping him out. LeBron is a machine. He's always playing. I'm going to go ahead and get him. So that would be a way to go. But I assume, Lauren, you're talking about from the wire. So while I'm searching this, I'm just going to put in a plug for, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like, and put your comments below. We are starting to get noticed by YouTube, and that's great. But the more you pump us up, the more we get noticed, and the better content we'll be able to give you. So, Lauren, here's what I'm going to look for. I'm not just going to look for all available players. Let's bring up the screen again, guys. Perfect. Let me zoom in a little bit. Now you see here, it says all available players right here. But if I click on it, it goes down and we can put all players. So this shows players that are owned in my particular league, and I'm going to click on percent rostered. When we do the waiver wire show, we like to look at players that are 60% or below to get a replacement because they're, pretty widely available. So we're going to have to skip around a little bit, get away from the 100% owned, because these are guys you're not going to be able to get unless you're looking in a trade. So I'm skipping around. Once you get down to 77%, it's probably still universally owned. But if you want to go back, there is at least Blake Griffin, 77% owned. He's available. Now, of course, he's out, and he's also playing terribly. So he's not a good replacement. So we're going to keep on going, Lauren. See who we can get. All right. Well, okay. So Demarcus Cousins is 67% owned. He hasn't been playing that well. Right now, he's shooting 32% from the field. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just so you can see that better. Let me show you that number right here. 32%, 31.6. But Cousins is somebody who's got some plausible upside. He's on Houston. They just cleared out Harden as there's more room. So I would say he's a player that you might want to look for. If Tyler Halliburton's available in your league, grab him. That guy can give you a good 80% of what you're getting. Not 80%, maybe 70% of Kawhi Leonard. Because Kawhi's going to sit a lot also. Dante DiVincenzo is having a good season. I think he's starting to fade. So he would not be my pick. I'm going to go to the next page. Let's see who we can get. Miles Bridges is a guy that I have liked a lot. He's somebody I'd recommend. Oh, look at this. Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb's starting to play pretty well. He's getting some playing time. Let's take a look at what he's doing. This is a guy, though, I would think to look to. And while it's loading, I'm going to have some more Killcliff. Okay, Jeremy Lamb. We're going to go to game log. Let's see how he's doing. He just came back. I think he was out injured. Let's see what he's doing so far. Oh, look at this. He had 2 22-point games, 7 rebounds in both of those games. He's getting a steal per game right now. He hits some threes. Jeremy Lamb is a guy that I would snatch up if you can. He's only 48% owned. Let's see, Lauren. I'm going to get just a couple more. Then I'm going to move on to another question, and I will circle back to this if need be. Justin Holiday of the Pacers is another good one. And look, when I'm looking at this, what I'm looking at is the current ranking. So this is another way you can sort it. You go to the current ranking, and then right next to it is the percent rostered. Now, if you scroll down on this first page, it's not going to show us much. I'm going to skip to a page that is actually useful to us, Lauren. Let's see. These are still mostly... Okay. Here, Seth Curry, he could be available. Interestingly, Lauren owns him in our league, so we've obviously scooped him up. Let's move to the next page and see who's available. Okay, now we're starting to get into territory where we could get somebody pretty useful. Alec Burks. He's playing pretty well. Now, these are average stats. So he's ranked 69th in average stats, but he's 57% owned. He's playing on the Knicks, so he's getting a lot of playing time. And if we scroll over, he's averaging 16.7 points a game, close to 3 threes a game. His shooting percentages are good. A steal a game. I got to say, Alec Burks is not the guy that I would go for because he's too easily injured. Enes Kanter is a nice pickup, but he's a different kind of player than those players, so I'm not sure about that. Let's see who else might be available. What I'm looking at, by the way, is the numbers. Don't get fooled by this one. Thomas Bryant is ranked 75th and 34% owned, but he has a torn ACL, so he's not going to do you any good, unfortunately, and we wish him all the best getting better. He's a good player. Kevin Huerter, here he is. He's ranked 99th overall, 58% owned. If we scroll over, his numbers are pretty good. But look, he's going to give you about, we've got a question coming in. I'm going to get back from this. Chase Brown has a question. I'm in a points league and got offered John Collins and Donovan Mitchell for my Djante Murray and Julius Randle. Should I accept the trade? Okay, I'm going to need to do some research, Chase, and then I'll get back to you, Lauren, on other replacements. So here's the thing, Chase. At first glance, I say yes. John Collins and Mitchell, at least before the season, I would have wanted this for sure. Now I know Djante Murray and Julius Randle are both having great seasons. So what I need to see is why is this guy offering you this? So I'm going to look for John Collins. Here we go. Collins is looking pretty good. I mean, his season average is 53. I'm going to zoom out so you can see that better. There you see he's ranked 53 on the season. Let me scoot it over because you're not seeing that's Collins. Okay, so here we've got Collins. He's ranked 53rd on the season average. Season total. Hold on, Chase. Let me see what I can get for you. Season total 39. So those numbers are not far off. He's a very quality player. So I like that. Now I'm going to look at Donovan Mitchell, who I generally love. He's ranked 60th in average. I think these numbers are going to come up, though. I think this is a great deal for you. Just going to look at the season total to see if there's a big difference. No, it's pretty much the same. So Mitchell scores a lot. Now I'm going to check out your guys, Julius Randle and Djante Murray, and see what's going on with them. With Mitchell and with Collins, you're getting the more proven guys. Murray and Randle, you did a great job picking those players. But now let's find out if they're going to hold that value. As I expected, Djante Murray is already starting to fade from what I can tell. I'm going to look at the game log and see. All right. Come on, Internet. Giddy up. Djante Murray. Okay. His minutes are holding steady. That's good to see. His points are kind of all over the place. His assists, he's had some big games, but look, I see a player that's up and down. I'm already saying take this trade, but I'm going to look at Julius Randle for you to be thorough because he is even better than Djante Murray in how he's done this season. Yeah, they're both starting to fade. Take the deal now. Run and take that deal. It's exactly what I thought it was. Okay. Sam Jacobowitz has a question. Are these good trades? Drew Holiday for Tobias Harris and Djante Murray, Jonas Valanciunas, and Schroeder for Ben Simmons and Mitchell Robinson. Okay, now I do want to say some of this is going to depend on the context of your team. So, and a player as with these kind of great questions like Sam, you already know this, Sam. So I'm more talking for the audience. But for you, I do want to say you probably have taken into context your team. Mitchell Robinson is a guy who's going to block a ton of shots. Ben Simmons typically is a really good player, but his free throw percentage is generally horrifically bad. And it's not as bad this year, which is good, but his points are down. So this is interesting. I'm just going to look and see what did Simmons do last year compared to this year. Now, again, I wanted to say one of the reasons I'm not that familiar with a player like Ben Simmons is these are players that are universally owned in my league that I'm not particularly interested in trading for. So I don't often know what's going on with them. Now, I need to see the season average, not the season total. Sorry. You want to compare average to average and total to total. So he was the 25th average overall player. His free throw percentage is actually, it's above 600 at least. So that's not too bad. His numbers are a bit down, but generally I like Simmons. So, I'm sorry, I'm evaluating the second trade first for some reason, but my eye was drawn to it. I'm feeling that is probably a deal you do want to take because Simmons has great upside. Let's look at what Robinson has been doing. And I'm assuming I have the right side of the deal. Let me just scroll down and see if you're commenting on that. Ross the Boss says Ben Simmons can't shoot. He'd rather have Shake Milton. I don't really blame you for it. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's not a category league. Okay. So right. It's a points league. Steals and blocks are only worth 2. Okay. So look, that might make Mitchell Robinson worth less than he is in a 9 category league. Let me explain the difference to anybody out there wondering about this. Sorry, Sam, I do see you were commenting you're in a points league, so I missed that. But a points league is basically you get points for each category, and it just adds up. Whereas in a category league, the percentages matter. So, sorry I botched that, Sam. With Ben Simmons, it sounds like the shooting percentage isn't going to matter too much. It's points league, so it's about which categories are getting amassed. I would go for it, I think. We've got another question from Chase Brown. Let's get to that one. Oh, wait, we got one from Ross the Boss. Chase, I'll get to you in a second. Wendell Carter is out for a while. Who should I pick up to take his place? Okay, well, listen. And I still owe Sam an analysis of his earlier trade. Drew Holiday for Tobias Harris. I don't remember which side you were getting. Can you tell me which side you were getting, Sam? And then I'll weigh in on that. So Wendell Carter, I pull him up. He's a center. He is getting rebounds, but he really wasn't getting a lot of he was getting points and rebounds. Listen, if you can get Enes Kanter for Wendell Carter Jr., that's a great pickup. But chances are at this point, Enes Kanter's probably gone. Let's see what his ownership is. Ross the Boss. Let's find out. We need to look at all players because I have picked him up myself. No, let's just search for him directly. Enes Kanter. Okay, he is 71% owned. I'm going to zoom in so you can see that. 71% owned, so you're probably not going to be able to get him. So we're looking for a rebounder, Ross. That rebounder, we're looking for a double-double machine is what I'm seeing from what you're asking. So I'm going to just go to all available players because it'll be a bit easier to search this. So we've talked about Demarcus Cousins. He's got a very good chance to be a good replacement for you. His shooting percentage will go up. Let's zoom in here a little bit. He's shooting, 31.6% from the field, but that's not like him. He's going to have the opportunities. He's only getting 17.04 minutes a game in the average stats, but when you look closer, you look in the game log, let's see how his minutes have been going lately. Just as I suspected, they're on the rise. On January 22nd, he had 32 minutes. He had 29 on January 23rd and 26th. I think Cousins is your guy, Ross. Go grab him. Sam, let me answer your question again. Tobias Harris. Okay, I need a small forward in my league. Drew is not worth as much because defensive stats are only worth half of what they are in other leagues. Well, then you got it nailed. You're a very good player, I can tell already. But go snag Tobias Harris. That's a great trade for you. I that was my leaning anyway, but that makes it even more that way. Let's see. Sam felt that Chase Brown's trade where he would get John Collins and Donovan Mitchell for Djante Murray and Julius Randle was close. I agree that the trade looks even, but I really do think you're winning if you're getting the Collins and Mitchell side. Okay. Chase Brown is saying, I figured since Derek White is going to come back soon, that could affect DJ. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I do want to remind people, if you would like to call in and be on the show, go to callmfsn.com, www.callmfsn.com. And people like Sam, we've been chatting it up. We're old friends now. You do not have to come on video if you're not comfortable. You can come on audio. But listen, I love, you can even just put it in the chat. I'm loving it. Chase, you want to come on? We're becoming friends now. At least hopefully I'm answering your questions well. So let's see. Chase, you said, Ross, if you want to come on the show, anybody. I mean, look. I mean, not anybody. We don't want like Charles Manson coming on the show. That's no good. Okay? But listen, I know I've got some people who will, they'll if Charles Manson comes on, they'll screen him. And they'll be like, nah, I'm sorry. You are not coming on. But Courtney, if Charles Manson comes to you, tell me, because we got to protect you. That man's crazy. People don't say it all the time, but Charles Manson's crazy. Okay. Where was I? I derailed myself there. No surprise there. Okay. Derek White is coming back soon, and that could affect DJ. I just want to look at that. So you're talking about Djante Murray, and I think he was fading anyway, Chase. So I think you have the right idea. I think that's smart. Another good player out there, clearly. All right. Sam says he'd rather chat. He's in a room watching the Knicks game. I don't blame you, man. You're getting to relax and watch a game. I have kids, so I know the opportunity to do something like that is awesome. Even doing this is amazing. All right, let's see. We've got some other questions that I may have lost here. We've got a good chatter going. Oh, we got 810 Pro Wrestling. Where can we get a Kill Cliff? I missed that. Where can we get a Kill Cliff? Well, you can get it. I know you can get it on Amazon because I was searching on Amazon to see. But Courtney, you send me a message and you tell me where we can get Kill Cliff. I mean, I believe. What's the website? www.killcliff.com? Yeah, of course. Go straight there. You'd think I would know this with them as our sponsor, but I'm just getting to know them. Sorry, Killcliff. I'll do a better job next time. I know your website now. All right, let's see. Lauren asked, is Carmelo a good ad with Nerc, McCollum, and Covington out? Sam commented on this. He said, it's an okay ad, Lauren. I agree with him, except I might even downgrade it. I don't love Carmelo as an ad. What you see is what you get with Carmelo. You know, we've seen. I mean, look, he was a great player. I remember him his freshman year at Syracuse, winning that championship. I was a huge Carmelo fan. And he was great when he first came in. And but I think he let his game erode. He's one of those players that did not work hard enough at the mental side of the game to keep it up. LeBron, that's the thing about LeBron. You look at that draft class, they're all gone, all of them. And he is competing for MVP. He's a machine. Love you, LeBron. Let's see. What else did I miss? Lauren Auerbach says, I love Jeremy Grant this year. He's killing it. He sure is, and I did not know. But Sam says, sell really, really high on Grant. And I can't disagree with you, Sam. I do think he's going to come down. But he is keeping it going. Casey says, Sam, it looks like you could sell him to Lauren. But the thing is, I think Lauren owns him in our league, and Sam is not in our league. So that trade's not going to work. But Casey, I like your mad scientist thinking there. All right, let's see. What else did I miss? Now, this is great. Ross the Boss says he meant to say the Greek freak, but instead he said Grieg the freak, which is almost like Greg, our producer. Maybe he was talking about you, Greg. Grieg the freak is shooting 59% free throws. Should I trade him for Curry? Listen, I probably would. Let's take a look. Let's look at what Curry's doing. Don't trade him for Seth Curry, though. Don't do that. You probably didn't need me to tell you that. Actually, I know you didn't need me to tell you that. I'm looking at his season total. He's ranked 4th overall. My cousin Andrew owns him. Oubre's used socks. I always hate to see his players do well, but there it is. He's a very good fantasy player, so that's what's happening. Yes, Ross, do that right away. Steph Curry is going to keep up what he's doing, and let's see what Giannis is doing. Antetokounmpo, ranked 59th overall in season average. Listen, you should do it, but you're not going to be able to. That's going to be your problem. Giannis is just having a bad year with his free throws, and he needs to get some kind of free throw coach or something. He needs Jeff Hornacek, or you know who he needs is Mark Price, my old friend Mark Price, one of the best free throw shooters of all time. Guys, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like, put your comments below. We got a great chat going. Sam Jacobowitz, Chase Brown, you are keeping us going. Interesting. Sam says he wouldn't trade him for Curry, but listen, remember, Sam, you're in a points league. In a points league, I wouldn't trade him either. But in a category league, I absolutely would. Ross the Boss asks, LeBron overrated. He only had 46 against the Cavs. I made this point to Ross earlier. He is one of my co-hosts. Yeah, Sam says in his league, Giannis is doing better than Curry, but that's because it's a points league, Sam. I think. I mean, I don't know for sure. But where was I? What was Ross saying? I completely lost my train of thought. Nice. Ross is picking up. He says he's picking up Cousins now, but oh wait, I can't because I have to wait till Monday because our commission is too controlling to make it so we can do waiver every day. You know why I do it? It's not controlling this, Ross. It's because if we had to do waiver wire every day, it would be a game of attrition where everybody would just want to pick up as many players as possible to play as many games as possible. So if you want to play a game where you just basically, it's like a hot dog eating contest, then we could do it your way. But that is disgusting, and nobody wants that. I like hot dogs, but not that way. Sam asks, do you think LeBron James will go up in value? I do. That's where I was. Thank you, Sam. And do you think Durant will go down? I do as well. I think the arrival of Harden will impact him. Yes, I agree. I actually think Harden being back with Durant's going to be like, oh, this is why I didn't like it before. I remember in OKC when this guy was here. I don't remember if he had the beard then like that. I don't think he did, but Harden is an annoying guy. I mean, I'm sorry, Harden, if you're watching this, and I'm sure you are. If you're watching this, listen, I'm sorry. I call it like it is. You're trying to annoy people. You know you are. I'm just calling it like it is. Stop arguing with me, James. But listen, Durant is going to be a little bit bothered by that. There's only one ball. You know, he's like, I got away from Westbrook, and now you're here. What are you doing? The reason LeBron's going to go up, I think the King is on a mission to be MVP again. There were I picked LeBron in my league, and many people said, oh, LeBron's going to sit all the time. And I was like, no, he's not. He is not going to do a Kawhi Leonard. LeBron wants to win the MVP. So yes, they're going to say he's questionable like every single game, and he's going to play every single game. So I think LeBron James goes up. I think Durant does go down. Not that much, though. I think he stays probably in the top 10. All right. Let's see. Ross the Boss asks, Mason Plumlee a good pickup? Ross, are you asking that because on our waiver wire show, we stuck on Mason Plumlee for like 5 minutes and you almost blew a carotid artery? I think that is why you're asking that. Yes. Is Mason Plumlee, but I will entertain it as if it is a serious question because some people are wondering, is Mason Plumlee a good pickup? So I think he's a solid pickup. I don't think he's great. Well, let's look at why. His average stats. First of all, his free throw percentage has never been that good. He's got 8.4 points a game. Here we are. These are Mason Plumlee stats. You just trust me. Fine. You don't trust me? Fine. I'll show you. Mason Plumlee. And you see he's on the team 4-season total manscaping. We've got some reference to something that feels long gone now. In any case, we now are looking at Mason Plumlee's stats. Again, if you're in a points league, maybe this free throw percentage doesn't matter to you so much. But Party Marty's in the house? Did I just hear that? Party Marty's in the house. Let's bring him in. Party Marty, come in.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, we're going to get back to you, Mason Plumlee, but first, we're going to welcome Party Marty to the show. Is this just audio, or are you coming in video? Here he is.
Right here.
There. You're one of my favorite Canadians. You know that?
Thank you. How's things?
And listen, I really like the Canadians.
Yeah. Whoops.
I mean, the Montreal Canadiens I don't like as much because they won so much before, but I'm starting to like them because they're losing.
Me either.
games.
I don't like the Canadians at all, really.
Yeah, you know, Marty, can you tell us? I just learned this from talking to you on our hockey show. You told me that Canadian teams don't tend to like each other.
No,
like you're an
they
Ottawa
do.
Senator fan.
They do have rivalry. They beat each other up. They have fights. They argue and they have fights all the time. And I just love the Ottawa and Toronto battle. So,
and here I was thinking that the Canadian teams would be like, the Quebec Nordiques were stolen and turned into the Colorado Avalanche. We'll band together. And the Winnipeg Jets, they left and then they came back. And I thought they would all band together. Instead, they hate each other.
Yeah, they do. The Winnipeg
That's amazing.
Jets, oh my God, they put a great show with Ottawa, but my team lost 3 times against the Jets.
We have a question from the crowd. It's for you.
Yeah.
Do you have an Irish car bomb? It's like that's what everybody thinks you are. It's just an Irish car bomb.
I only have the Bailey shot. I'm out of Guinness, so I have to buy some on Thursday payday. But I got the Bailey shot. I got a Bailey shot.
All right. Well, listen, you drink that. I will drink my Kill Cliff.
Okay.
Get it around.
Okay.
Yes. Cheers to you, Marty.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Oh, man.
Delicious.
That's good. I'm going to get addicted to this stuff.
Eh.
Scary stuff to get addicted to that. Well, listen, Marty, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem.
This is great.
Have a good one.
We're gonna set up a we're gonna set up another hockey show soon. I think not next week because we've got football leading up to the Super Bowl. I think it's the following week. We'll be in touch.
Okay, cool. See you later.
You're the man.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's see. Ross the Boss is asking, Mason Plumlee a good pickup? He says Casey can shoot better. And listen, Ross, I've played basketball with Casey, and the fact is Casey's got a pretty good shot. You didn't know that, did you? Mason Plumlee, good pickup. I'd say he's an average pickup. But just to entertain this question fully, let's look at what he's done in the last 14 days. This is a stat that I love to look at. Last 14 days, what's he doing? Ooh, he is falling off a cliff. Still playing 25 minutes a game, but he's really not doing much. I'm going to look at the last 14 days average. No, that's last 30 days average. Let's do last 14 days average. All right. It's not pretty. Ranked 272. Cut this guy immediately. His free throw percentage is down to 52.6%. He's doing a double-double, but he's not getting steals or blocks. He's turning the ball over. You got to move on from Mason Plumlee. Ross, you will be happy to know I agree. We are going to go to the last question of the night. Sam, by the way, Sam Jacobowitz says Griffin is a better pickup than Plumlee. That's for sure. That's no question. He also said DeAndre Jordan is a better pickup. I agree. Totally agree. Let's see. And last question. How about this one? I have Trae Young. Should I trade for Jason Tatum? Well, listen, it's going to depend on your needs, and it's going to depend on your league. So, Trae Young and Jason Tatum are probably pretty similar level players in terms of how good they actually are, certainly in real life. But if you look at what Trae Young has been doing, he's ranked 72nd in average stats. And I'm going to look at the total. Thank you for the screen assist. I appreciate it. His season total, 69. So I'm not seeing, everyone was expecting a big step forward from Trae Young. But let's look at the average stats again. I want to see why is he this kind of middling? Oh, does Sam have a question? Let's see. Okay. I'm going to answer this one, then I'm going to answer Sam's question, then we're going to wrap up. So Trae Young, 72. I'm not liking what I'm seeing there. Tatum, I like much better. Yes, you should trade for Jason Tatum if you can. I agree with Sam. Tatum is a little better, but I think overall, he's more than a little better actually for this season. Sam, you get the honor of the last question, if you call it an honor anyway. I'm granting it as if it's an honor, but I hope it's received that way. Sam says, rate my 10-team league. Very important that we talk about this. A 10-team league, it means that the waiver wire is going to be a little shallower. You can pick up some really good players in a 10-team league. He wants me to rate it. Ben Simmons, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Rudy Gobert, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Siakam, Tobias Harris, and Mitchell Robinson. That's a pretty beastly team, I got to say. Listen, in fantasy basketball, nice, Ross. You accepted the offer. You are welcome. You got a steal there. If that was in our league, then it might come back to hurt me. Let's see. I think that, you've got to have one of the top teams, I would think, because I like to have a big three in a 10 or 12 team league. You've got LeBron, Jason Tatum, and Gobert certainly qualify for that. But then you also have these other very strong players. And it's a points league also. So Ben Simmons is even more useful. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is fantastic. You got Siakam in that great deal. You got Tobias Harris and Mitchell Robinson in that other deal. So I think you did great in those deals. You really put a great team together. So Guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, click like, put your comments below. Thank you again. I want to give a particular shout out to Sam Jacobowitz. You are our MVP tonight. Chase Young, you delivered some great questions as well. We hope that you guys will come back and join us and spread the word to your friends. Love doing this Q&A. I could do this all night. I really could. Maybe I will. Should I just stay here? All right, fine. I'll wrap it up, but I'll be back soon. And I really appreciate that everybody was watching. We do have one last question. Everybody's trying to squeeze one in. How often do I need to pay attention to my team? Great question from Anthony. You need to pay attention to your team every day. First of all, especially if you're in daily leagues, you got to change your lineup every day. You got to check in and see who's playing in the games. You're going to lose if you don't pay that much attention. Sam says, thank you. Have a great night. Do these more often. We will, Sam. Thank you, and I appreciate the good feedback. Anthony, pay attention to your team every day. You got to, and Anthony's agreeing, do these more often. So I will. So pay attention to your team every day. You got to see what the latest trends are. If you're holding on to Mason Plumlee for a whole week, that could kill you. And if you got a guy, Jimmy Butler, out with COVID and you weren't paying attention, you're losing games. Ross says every hour you should look. And look, I do check. I check multiple times a day. I actually do. And I highly recommend it. It's very good for your social life. Okay. Thank you for watching, everybody. Tune in. We have this every week, every Tuesday, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Sometimes it'll be me. Sometimes it'll be Ross. It really depends who wins the fight. I beat his ass tonight. Okay. We'll see you next week.
Everyone is happy with the new flavor of Killcliff CBD Strawberry Days. It's clean energy. Makes your days more pleasurable by infusing strawberries right into your drink hole. Look at Sally. Her drink hole is happy. Way to go, Sally. Get the world of tomorrow today at killcliff.com. The biggest no-brainer.